the pandemic forced the Harlem-based nonprofit Brotherhood Sister Soul to suspend its in-person programming, the group found a different way to help young people in communities of color. Please meet the executive director and one of the youth organization's members. Khary, thank you so much for being with us. And also, hello and good morning to you, Tida, who's a youth member of your organization. But for those who may be unfamiliar with Brotherhood Sister Soul, just tell us how you got started, Khary.
The Brotherhood Sister Soul is actually in our 26th year of operation. We're based in Harlem, but we're a citywide organization. And we really work in three spaces: educating, organizing, and training. Educating young people to understand the world that they're born into, organizing for social change, and training folks on our model throughout the city and also nationally as well.
Our conversation today is just about how you had to readjust, if you will, or adapt, from the events of last year with the pandemic, and share with us, how that impacted the mission.
The Brotherhood Sister Soul, BroSis, works in the space of helping young people to understand the conditions that they face, unapologetically talking about issues that are political, about race, about gender, about class, about identity, about immigration status. And so we're always an organization that's worked on the issue of income inequality. Obviously, what COVID did was really broke something open in this country. In addition to it being a health pandemic, it broke up the lack of access to equal health care. It broke open the lack of access to support and the ability to quarantine and to distance. And so when we came to our young people last year, when the pandemic began, and we're an organization that is there to support community in any and all times. And we asked our young people, what do you most need right now? And they said, we need computer access and technological access. And we provided laptops and hotspots because our young people were being asked to learn from home. And many didn't have access to the technology to do that. And then there were emergency financial issues to pay critical bills. And we provided direct financial support to our young people. And then thirdly, they talked about the issue of food insecurity and not having sufficient sustenance at home. And so we started 1 week after the height of the pandemic in New York in mid-March, when people were told to stay home. We were at our organization with our doors open, feeding our young people. We started with 70 young people and feeding their families. A year later, we've provided 550,000 meals to our young people and to our community, helping them through this extremely difficult time.
I want to bring in Tida now into the conversation, again, introducing her to our audience, our viewers, that she is a youth member. Tell us how you became connected with the organization and how it helped or impacted you last year.
I saw a flyer outside of my classroom and I decided to pick it up. And thankfully, it was an application to be a member of one of the programs at BroSis, which is the Summer Liberation School. So I decided to join in because, it was my first time being in the US. I had nothing to do. So I joined in and thankfully I got accepted. And I was there for about since 2017, met with great people, young activists, organizers. There were so many dope people, especially the facilitators. They were very eye-opening, they were welcoming. And the fact that BroSis, greets you instantly when you come in, it shows how the unity, the love is in the community, because you don't want to go to a space where you've been ignored. You don't want to go to a space where you're not being acknowledged. But BroSis has always been there for me, has always been there for other young people, and I definitely feel like it's one of the best decisions I have ever made in my life.
Khary, you're taking care of the community. Who is helping you with your mission? Who are you partnering with to foster the work that you're doing?
Well, we can't do our work without, certainly our credible support through our board of directors, through foundations and funders who are central to, keeping our, organization moving forward. We're building a new building, 20,000 square foot new building for our organizing and our activism work and our training work in West Harlem on 143rd. That is only possible due to the support of private philanthropy, but also the City Council and Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer and City Council Member Mark Levine and assorted elected officials who have supported us. But also I think you see our supporters in the story of Tida. Tida is organizing around decreasing police personnel in our school and increasing guidance counselors. She's traveled with us internationally to study with us for a month in Cuba. And in the fall, she's been accepted for a full scholarship to attend Smith College. Her incredible achievements and success speak to the web of support that BroSis provides and the web of support and partners that we stand with to provide all of that kind of guidance and opportunity for our young people.
Tida, since he's mentioned and highlighted, and very much congratulations on your futures endeavors at Smith, if you had to speak to another young person to tell them why they should consider becoming a member or a youth mentor with BroSis, how would you answer that question?
I would tell them that, joining a program, an organization that's, standing there for young people is a huge empowerment. Not only will it be highlighted on your college, application, your resume and all that, but also it helps you to grow as an individual. I came here being a shy person, not talking a lot to a lot of people, but now, if you see me, I am very outspoken. I've been part of many programs within BroSis. I've been part of dance, ISL. I've been part of, creative music and all that. So definitely try to, reach out to these type of organizations, because not only will they help you, college application, because BroSis helped me, get into Smith College, but also they help you, financially. Khary mentioned that, BroSis has helped a lot of families, and that included my family as well, because during the pandemic, my dad was struggling to pay bills, and BroSis has, stepped in and helped my family and I, financially. It has helped me, because school is stressful. BroSis has always been that space for me to go and, navigate those stress, and it has definitely helped me, stand on my ground, because there be times where I feel down, where I feel like I'm not good enough, but you have other BroSis members who are there saying, no, you're not that. You're good enough. You're powerful. You got this. Never give up and all that. So that, community, that love that's being constantly shown in the space, I would definitely say young people, go out there, reach out to people who reach out to other young people, because you might need help that you may not know about.
My best to you from all of us at Fox 5 at Smith. Thank you so much for being with us, Khary.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for having us on this day.
All right, everybody, coming up next, talking about honoring our volunteers, including one who has dedicated her life to working